My name is Alexandria and I will be talking about Module 7. In Module 7, we're first introduced to the video First Grade Reading Interventions, Lesson 1 by Lauren Clough. I really liked this video. It had a lot of great models of strategies that can be helpful during reading intervention lessons. First, she talks about what the student would like to write about. They think about a topic and they also think about how they want the sentence to be structured. I really enjoyed that she gave the student a lot of space to think this through and work through some of those challenges of maybe I want to say this, but I don't quite know how, or I don't really know what I want to say. She really gave him the space and asked him, different things that kind of prompted him to think about things that he enjoyed, things that he's actually done, and then kind of clicked with, okay, I want to write this sentence, which I thought was really awesome. Really, it provided him that piece of working independently, trying to use the tools he already had to get to the solution. And then next we had video 2, How Can We Help Struggling Readers? This one was by reading expert Linda Farrell. I think her name is Linda Farrell. And she talks about pinpointing challenge and going back to the basics. And that was kind of the preface of the entire video, was kind of just finding the problem, pinpoint the problem, and rather than kind of moving on, or the fast approach of like, okay, they're having a problem sounding this word, let's just help them sound this word out. That's like the quick approach to move on to the next thing. But when we start to notice this student is having a problem sounding multiple words every single time, and maybe there's an issue with a certain sound that they're not getting, and she's talking about that, finding that problem, finding that sound. Maybe that student never really mastered that sound. They never really mastered how to retrieve that sound. And so she talks about that being a priority in making sure that our students feel confident and really supporting them properly. So the key takeaway I found from that was find what they need and start there. That's something she said, and I really liked that. I think that that's very important. That's what our job is to do, is to find the challenge, what the root of the challenge, and then start there and see how we can build them up from there. And then next we were provided a resource called First Grade Intervention Guide. I really liked this guide. I think that this guide is so helpful when we are doing assignments that require us to like build or create our own lesson plan or mini lesson plan. This is such a great resource for that. Each lesson in this guide provides us with decoding practice, vocabulary introduction, and daily reading comprehension introduction, which I think is awesome. When it comes down to planning, we can kind of look through those and see how they're structured, and we can kind of build our own based on that. It provides a list of additional resources that we might need. So maybe we need to list certain words ahead of time. Maybe we need to have sound cards prepped ahead of time. Maybe we have to just have things like that we might need that will just really enhance the lesson. So it includes lists of those things that we might need. Next, it includes instructions for instructing, which I thought it sounds like, okay, duh, it's a guide, of course it's gonna, but I just think that's really helpful to, instead of just giving us, okay, this is what you're gonna do with your students, this, and this, it also gives you, when you're here and you're working on what do we talk about? Decoding practice. You're going to use this type of sounding when you're sounding words, and this is going to help the students. And just different methods and strategies that you can use to make the lesson so much better and so much more beneficial. And then next, our guides to speech and action were introduced. There are 15 in total. I really think that these are so important. This is something we refer back to in a lot of the modules, or a few of the modules, I'll say. And there's something that we should really, I figured we should really come to hone our skills in really following these guides to speech and action. And my main takeaway is that practicing and focusing on these can cultivate a safe and supportive environment. They do talk a lot about things to be hypervigilant, ways to be hypervigilant, whether we are using the most strategic positions for supervising, increasing our awareness, we're making our directions effective by reinforcing when necessary, just doing different things to create a space that is safe, and also we're providing support continuously. It's always a classroom where the students enjoy coming in, they enjoy learning, and they don't feel scared, but they also know there are rules to follow that help us be safe around one another or with one another or in the classroom in general. It's an environment where I feel comfortable, safe, and I understand what is expected. So I think these are really great. I think that like I said, really honing these skills and making them a habitual tendency that we're always doing these 15 guides to speech and action. It's very important. So these are a few of the things, or all the things we learned from Module 7, and I think that they were all a lot of great takeaways. Thank you so much.